Thank you, Andrea. Gràcies a tothom.
Thank you very much to one and all. As Andrea mentioned, the second part of the fixing is in the topic of education for all. When it comes to education, of course, education is undergoing a transformation process, and we thought it was essential to include education in the fixing because it is key in order to reshape the future. As I said before, education is undergoing a deep transformation process at all levels. In terms of tools, this morning we had an AI workshop, and the lecturer said it this morning. He said AI today is a reality. It's becoming a pedagogical tool at school, and if used properly, it can be very useful. New tools such as 3D printers, etc. All this is related to another area which is undergoing a transformation, which is learning methods. More hands-on, experience-oriented, or learning by doing tools. All this is already landing in the classroom. And of course, as a result of these, new contents are being proposed. Andrea mentioned Abilis, the portal that I lead in Abacus. We put a STEM at the center. I'm sure that you know what STEM is about. Our speakers will be speaking about STEM. It means science, technology, engineering, and math. So a lot of emphasis is being placed in this content. But not only, there's always also content related to soft skills development and environmental awareness. Of course, soft skills have always been important, but perhaps today the focus is more and more on skills such as creativity, leadership, long life learning, teamwork, etc. Our four speakers will be raising this topic. Let me introduce the first speaker, who will be focusing on a value which is today very important: inclusion. Inclusion is important in the educational system also, and it's very important to ensure how we transform the main landfill. I mean, he's going to be speaking about how to transform the largest landfill in Paraguay into a forum for an orchestra for children at risk of social exclusion. Let's welcome Favio Chávez, a musician and the director of the orchestra. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Favio Chávez. I'm from Paraguay. I am the Recycle Orquesta conductor. Sorry, my English is finito. La presentación va a ser en español, ¿ok? Bueno.
So Asunción is Paraguay's capital city, and there is a neighborhood called Cateura. And in Cateura there is a massive landfill. Where we came up with the idea of having an orchestra. It's the last of the places one would think of, right? So the community was built on top of trash. So we wanted to fill the gaps filled with trash. So even homes are built on trash. Children play around trash. Animals are fed in this environment, and this is the horizon the community can see every morning when you open a window in a house in this neighborhood. This is your horizon, these are your views. This is quite hopeless, and it limits inhabitants, overcome social barriers, and even workers who work in recycling waste. We have promoted an idea, which is the world sends us trash, we send back music. This is our mantra, because this is exactly what we do with the orchestra. With the waste we build musical instruments. And the first activity we promote, and the first activity that I carried out. I was hired as an environmental technician in a waste management project. But I'm also a musician. I've been a musician since I was very young, and I have been in groups in my community, Guarapehups in Guarani. So when I started working with children of this area, they asked me to teach them music. And this was the first lesson. We used some instruments, and the recyclers are at the back waiting for the lesson to end. And the class took place in the very same landfill. So the community had previously developed the skill to reuse waste to respond to their community needs. This house is built with waste, so imagination has no end when there are real needs. So this very same knowledge was used to develop musical instruments with the same materials they used to build homes. Now they develop musical instruments such as this violin, which is produced with wood, aluminium cans, forks. Let me also clarify that this is a metal violin or a can violin. The process is first looking for the materials in the landfill, shaping them, and the first picture in the top left side, you can see polluting materials, but these polluting materials end up becoming a smile in the face of an infant. Here is a cello built also with the same materials. Let us clarify that this brand, the oil brand, is not a sponsor of the orchestra. This is a saxo produced also with recycled materials, a long list of them. In C. This has been also produced with waste coming from pipes. This is a guitar produced with cans, with a can where one that used to contain potatoes, sweet sauce, X-rays. With the X-rays, we can even develop percussion instruments. This is extremely interesting and handy when it comes to, for example, when we wanted to play with Metallica, we could use this X-ray, this hand X-ray. And then in the parliament, we also played before the parliament, and this was the X-ray we used. So where did this idea stem from? Well, it stemmed from a reality. In Cateura, a violin is more costly than a house. But you know, many people say, why using these recycled materials when there are real instruments out there? Well, real instruments do not solve the problem that we are aiming to solve. So, confronted with this reality, we have developed our own instruments because it's been a collaboration-based process, and the first lessons are taught with these recycled instruments that cannot be sold, cannot be stolen, cannot be bargained. These instruments are composed of trash, so they are only valuable at the hands of a boy or a girl playing music. The instruments cannot be pawned. Tell this girl that this guitar is a real one. She loves it. She learns how to play the guitar with this one, or the saxo, or the double bass. So this is our orchestra, where we can where we can contribute also to developing values such as responsibility, perseverance, respect. All these values contribute to the process we want to achieve. And with this orchestra, we have traveled the world. We have traveled to Brazil, Panama, Colombia, Argentina, Ramallah. In Palestine, we were in Ramallah. And after this conference, next week I was meant to travel to Ramallah to help Palestinian school Al-Kamayati in Ramallah replicate the model. I have very dear friends in Ramallah. Unfortunately, the trip has been cancelled as a result of the circumstances in Palestine today. We also traveled to the West Bank and to the US. In Phoenix, Arizona, we've been to Toronto, Canada, Washington, the Millennium Stage, at the Kennedy Center. We've been to Oslo, Norway, the cleanest city in the world. One would have never imagined the long distance between our landfill and Oslo. Germany, Cologne, Japan. We've been to Japan. Madrid with Queen Sofia here in Spain. Amsterdam, one of the largest theater halls. Imagine all the way we've traveled from the landfill to this amazing theater in Amsterdam. We've been playing with Metallica with an audience of 50,000 people. We've played for the Pope Francis. We've been to Portugal, we've been to the UN in New York, we've been to Hollywood, we've been to San Remo in Italy, in one of the most important festivals in Europe. But again, we never wanted to limit this process to, being applauded or, in the anecdote of playing around the world. The educational process that we have tried to promote is precisely grounded on the idea that boys and girls who have no options to learn in a music school and with a formal musical instrument, well, they must also have the possibility to use the materials at their disposal to play music. This is why we use waste from Asunción. The picture of this boy, this student, in his first day with a double bass, with a metal double bass. This is the time when he arrived at his place. And the same picture a few years after, playing in a symphonic orchestra with a classical double bass, and he was awarded with a very important award, a very demanding award, a very exclusive award in Paraguay. And he started playing music with a waste recycled double bass. So it was a very important first step. This is the reason behind recycled instruments. Let me go one step forward. We believe that it's important, the fact that we have implemented a scholarship program thanks to which members of the orchestra can attend university, thanks to the revenue that we gain in our concerts. A couple of days ago, I ended a tour around the US, around 7 states and 15 cities. And of course, we earn money, and these resources are reinvested in education. Here you have a collage of the students that were sponsored and who are now finishing their university bachelors. We also offer grants to learn English and French. This young man is one of the first ones you've seen in the first picture, and look at him presenting his PhD thesis in Asunción. Today he is one of our teachers in the Cateura music school. Our music school is the most stable entity in our community, and it becomes a hospital twice a year because the orchestra works as a pool to attract interesting initiatives. Now we are in the process of building a small hospital, a small health center. Our classes, our lessons include a second concept. So we have like a violin lesson and a demo office. We reach more than 1,000 beneficiaries in the community every year. We also contribute to building homes for the most vulnerable families. We also built our own music school with broken bricks. We have also built infrastructures in our environment where there was no pedestrian lane. We have built one. We have changed the aesthetics of the community, inspired by art. In the past, Cateura was a scary place. Cateura was a landfill with drugs, violence, and social problems, whereas today in Cateura, one has to follow the script, the music script, to reach our school, where today we welcome more than 450 students every month. The model has been replicated in other countries, like in Spain. In Spain, there is a foundation under the umbrella of the Doña Sofia Foundation for kids of the Roma community. It's called the Recycled Orchestra. Again, this one was inspired by the Cateura Orchestra. The same project has been replicated in Cordoba in Argentina. And our history has inspired many books like this one, Ada's Violin, which is the history of a girl from the Cateura Orchestra, where she shares the experience she had. It's been translated into several languages, including Japanese. This one was published in French. This is me, actually, not the sexiest possible me. Or this that was published in Paris. This book is entitled Building an Orchestra of Hope, and in the next few days, it's going to be presented here in Barcelona in Spanish. A couple of days ago, we have been informed that a very famous Latino artist is going to produce a musical about our history for Broadway. And I would like to leave you with a smile in the face of this girl. All this journey, which has been like a roller coaster, would make no sense unless education was considered as an area where we can all access in a more egalitarian way to contribute to a fair, sustainable, and balanced and fair world. Thank you very much.